And now we're going to talk about how to prevent something that's called Notario fraud. I'm sure that some of your family members have heard about it or you have heard about it. So the term Notario comes from a Latin American term where some people associate Notario with an attorney. I say this because we've had issues with notarios in the 80s and the 90s, and we're still having issues with that now. So I'm going to give you some pointers so you can share with your family members as to how to identify whether you're in an office that may have or could associate with notario fraud in the future. So 3 ways to identify is number 1, you could go to an office and you're meeting with somebody who does not have the appropriate credentials. And what this means is usually attorneys have their California State Bar admissions in their offices, or they, as you're meeting with an attorney, they have their certificates in the back, and their business cards has that they're an attorney admitted into the California Bar, New York Bar. Not everybody has to be admitted in California. They can be admitted federally, since immigration is a federal law. So anybody who's admitted into New York State Bar could practice in California as well. So they could be admitted to any bar and they can practice federal law. So that's number 1 way to spot that the person that you're talking to is not a licensed attorney and should not be giving you advice as far as immigration or any other type of law that is very necessary in your life. The second way for you to identify is if you go to a legal office and the legal person that's trying to help you, or the paralegal, tells you that the attorney works outside of that office. Meaning, when you tell them, is there an attorney to your office? And that person tells you, oh, well, yes, he works in San Francisco, or he works off of another office, but I work for him here. That's a red flag for you. You need to ask to speak directly to that attorney at that other office. Usually, some people have that kind of association, but they're really independent, meaning they tell you that they are associating with attorneys, but they're really not. They're really independent, and they give you either false legal advice or advice that there's no substance in the back, meaning they are not trained legally to tell you consequences of applying for certain things. The third red flag is if certain nonprofits or certain offices are disguised as legal nonprofits. Now, there are some names out there that you should know. You can Google them. You can look at their credentials. There's charities such as Catholic Charities, El Rescate. There's certain nonprofits that are really well known, and usually you can spot the good ones by knowing who their staff attorneys are. Most likely they will have a staff attorney, meaning there's a lot of legal staff, but there's usually 2 or 3 staff attorneys that direct that staff. The nonprofits work extremely well. They help out the community, but there's usually a really long wait list to get into their organization, and they usually cater to low-income families. Now, the reason why I touch this topic is because I get a lot of applications that have some kind of notario fraud, this illegal kind of counseling. I'm going to share a story with you that I just recently got in my office, and it was a person that she does not call herself a notaria, but she helps out a lot of her family members. Now, 2 of her very important family members came into my office because their applications were denied. As I was reviewing the application and I asked her whether she had helped, and she said, yes, I know how to file certain applications. I kind of know a little bit about the law. And we spotted 2 or 3 errors that consequently there were huge errors that I believe that had her family members consulted with an attorney. We have what's called trade secrets, or we have certain things that we tell you, this is the way I would do it, or this is what the law reads, and either you fall within it or you don't fall if certain facts line up. And that's the importance of having those attorney-client privilege relationship, and the reason why you would want to get a trained attorney to doing your applications, because they're more trained to seeing certain facts that are very easy to kind of prevent that they could, be huge errors in your application. So there were certain errors that made the application that had they gone to an attorney, I don't think those errors would have been there that could basically cost them their hopes of ever becoming a resident in the United States. Now, I think this person was well-intentioned, but because she didn't have very much knowledge of the immigration laws, it turns out that 3 of her own family members lost any hope of ever becoming a resident. So I say that because it could happen with a family friend that wants to try to help you out with certain documents, or it could happen with somebody who has told you they have legal knowledge, but they don't have the training that they need to spot these issues in the future. Now, also legal assistants or notarios, right? They cannot give you legal advice. So what that means is if you go into an office and you ask somebody, what's the best way that I can go? That's legal advice. And it's a very thin line when somebody's just filing certain applications for you and when somebody's telling you this is the best route to go. Now, the best route to go is legal advice. You go into an office and you say, I want to file citizenship. I just need you to type up the information because I don't have a printer in my office. That's something different. I believe a notario or a family member could help you, almost like if you filled out your FAFSA application for financial aid. So you need to really watch out for these things because we have a lot of, especially in immigration, we have our vulnerable families. We don't know how to spot this, but I believe that as time goes on, we have more and more information that we're able to tell our family members there is a very easy way to spot whether we are in that kind of legal office or in that kind of scenario. And I usually tell all my family friends, you get what you pay for. So that's another thing that certain notario offices do charge you a lot less than an attorney would, but you also get what you pay for. So that's my recommendation of how to spot whether you're in a notario office. And I ask you to refrain from doing that, or ask some of your friends, please consult with an immigration attorney before you allow either a family friend or someone in an office like that to help you. So for more information on other topics, I'll be posting. If you want to know about a particular topic, you're more than welcome to comment on the comment section of this clip or personally, so I know what kind of information you would like me to speak on in other weeks. Okay, thank you so much.